Alright, now with the croquis that you found, we're going to do File, Open, and you're going to stretch it only from the corners. And once you are finished, we're going to go to the bottom and create a new layer right next to the trash can. It's going to be layer 2, but we're going to double click and name it Shirt. After you do that, we're going to go ahead and lock the first layer. Once we lock the first layer, you're going to notice we're going to go into the pen tool, and with the pen tool, we're going to switch fill and stroke. So with that arrow, I switched it so the fill is empty and the stroke is black. Now with the pen tool selected, we're going to do click and click. Now these are how you do straight lines. We're going to commence and start doing the armhole. The armhole, there's a curve. However, I'm going to show you a method. We're going to do click and click. Now with the white direct selection tool, we're going to click the middle point and you're going to drag out that circle to the left to create that nice soft curve. In this method, you're going to click inside the point and you're going to drag to the right a handle. Then you're going to land the point towards the bottom by the hips. So there's only 2 points and 1 handle. Now to adjust that handle, we're going to go to the white direct selection and we're going to adjust it. Now another method is we're going to take the pen tool, and by holding Option or Alt, you have this little triangle. With the triangle called, you're able to shift that curve. Now going back to the pen tool, we're going to continue. We're going to go again, and I'm going to show you again how to do the click from inside the point and drag out a handle and land the point. Almost like that. Notice I'm dragging out the handle to the top to get a nice curve to the top. Now I'm going to show you how to drag out the handle towards the bottom to get the curve to go to the bottom. Now these are 2 types of curves. The more you practice, the more you get a handle of it. Now I'm going to unsee the first layer so you can see more or less the work that we've done so far. I'm going to adjust a few of the points. So I'm going to click on this point and I'm going to go to the circle to soften the curves. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust the armhole. Stick it out so it's more pronounced, and also so we don't have a sharp curve, I'm going to go ahead and do that circle method again. Now we're going to see the layer again. You're going to go to the menu bar at the top right and go Options for Layers. Now there's a dim images. It's at 50. I'm going to lower it to 25 and press OK. I'm doing this so we can see our sketch better. Now we're going to lock it again. I'm going to go back to the shirt layer. I'm going to select the shirt layer. Holding Option, I'm going to click and drag out a copy, or you could do Command C, Command V. Now in the toolbar, we're going to go to Rotate, but we're going to go to Reflect tool. Double click on the Reflect tool with that selected, Vertical Preview, and it automatically flips it for you. Now we're going to move that into place with the black arrow tool, and I'm going to show you right now how to join these points. Now with the white direct selection tool, we're going to create a box and then hit Command J. Now we're going to do the same thing to the bottom. Create a box, do Command J, and it makes a complete shape. Now we're going to work on the sleeve. Now with the white direct selection, we're going to create a box only over the armhole. Command C, Command V. We're going to make a copy. Now with the white direct selection tool, you're going to click on the endpoint and delete. Perfect. Now we only have the armhole. Now with the pen tool, we can now commence and finish the rest of the sleeve by drawing it in. So I'm going to start at the top by clicking and dragging out to the top to get that curve and landing the point, and then do a straight line and click and then finish it off at the end. Now select the black selection tool and move the sleeve into place. Now with the white direct selection tool, you're able to select on the point and adjust it to your liking. This is how you can adjust any line, any point, or any curve. With the black one, I'm going to select it. Now clicking on the fill in the swatch layer, I'm going to change it to white so I can have a fill of white and a stroke of black. I'm going to do the same thing to the body. Select the stripe and then select white. Now both are filled with white. Now I'm going to go arrange and send to the back by right clicking. Now the sleeve is behind the body. Now I'm going to select the sleeve again, Command C, Command V, reflect it, and move it into place with the black arrow. Right click, arrange, send to back. Now we have the body of the shirt. Now I'm going to teach you how to do a collar, but instead of using the pen tool, we are going to use the rectangle tool. Now you're just going to click and drag out a rectangle, and I'm going to show you how to adjust it with the white direct selection tool. Now you're going to direct select each point and drag it to create your collar shape. Now I'm going to show you how to use a new tool. If you can't find it under your pen tool, I recommend you go to the three dots in the bottom and you do add and minus pen tool, delete, and add anchor. Now we're going to do add, and we're going to add an anchor right in the center of that line. Now with the white direct selection tool, we're going to drag down that anchor point and click on that circle to create a soft curve for the top of the collar. Now we're going to repeat the same steps for the bottom to create the soft curve both on the top and the bottom of the collar. With the black selection tool, we're going to make a copy and reflect it and put it into place. Then we're going to grab the rectangle tool to create the back of the collar with a simple rectangle. Right click, arrange, send to back, and with the add anchor tool, we're going to create that soft curve. Now if you just click on the collar, I'm going to show you a cool thing where you can go to Window, Stroke. If you don't see your options, click on the menu bar, Show Options. Now, to create soft lines, we're going to go to the corner section, and they have different types of corners, but we're going to click in the middle. And notice how it softens the corners. And we're going to repeat the same method to the other sides of the collars. Now that we have the base of the shirt, we're going to go to the pen tool and add more details. We're going to add a line by doing click and click. Now with the black arrow, we're going to copy and paste, reflect it, and place that. Now with the white selection tool, we're going to direct select the anchor point at the end and drag it in. Now we're going to grab the rectangle tool to create the button placement at the center front. Drag it all the way down, make sure it goes from collar to collar. Likewise, we're going to get the rectangle tool to create our pocket. Now I'm going to show you how to do the indent and towards the bottom. Now we're going to add an anchor right in the center at the bottom and drag it down with the direct selection tool. I use my keys just to drag it down 2 notches down. And now we have the base of our pocket and our buttonhole. Now although we have the base, we are missing something, and those are the stitch lines. So with the pen tool, I'm just going to do a straight line, click and click, direct select it, and in the strokes panel, we're going to click on dashed lines. Now in dashed lines, I'm going to do 2.5, and in gap, I'm going to do 1. Now you can adjust it to your liking. I'm going to do 0.75. Again, you can do it to your liking. Adjust it, play with it if you want smaller or bigger stitches. It depends on you. You can change the gap, you can change anything you want. All under dashed lines and even your stroke. Now once you like it, I'm going to copy both the sleeve and the stitch line, copy and paste it, reflect it with the black arrow, move it into place. Right click, arrange, send to back. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add stitch lines towards the sleeve by selecting the line, copy and pasting, or using Option Alt. Now with the eyedrop tool, you're able to select that same stitch, so that saves you so much time. Now repeat the same steps on the other side. copy and paste, and use the eyedrop tool to select the stitch information. Now we're going to go ahead and do the stitches on the collar with the pen tool. We're going to draw them in. Now we're going to do the stitch lines for the center front by copy and pasting and using the eyedrop tool to change the lines into stitch lines. Now we're going to adjust the shape so it can stay within the rectangle, and we're going to do the same concept for the pocket. Now we're going to do the stitch lines for the hem, almost the same concept. With the white direct selection tool, we're going to just select the bottom of the hem, make a copy. Now with the black or the white, we're going to eliminate the things we don't need. We only need the shape of the hem. Now that we have the shape of the hem, I'm going to use the black selection tool and place it on top of the hem. Now with the white selection tool, we are going to adjust the curves. And now that we're all set, we're going to take the eyedrop tool and select the stitch lines. To get rid of the white, we're going to go to the fill, change it to the red stripe, which means no fill. And now we're going to select that same stitch line, copy and paste it, and we're going to use the eyedrop to select the solid line. Now with the white direct selection, we're going to move those points into place, and then we're going to arrange send to back. Then we're going to select it. And now we can change the color of that space. I chose a gradient. If you want to know where the gradient is, we can go to Window and select Gradient. Now with the gradient, you're able to play with different tabs by just filling it in with color. So you just double click and you can fill it in with any color that you want. You could do green, you could do gray, you could do white, you could do black. I'll just play with it just a little bit, and you could slide them to play with the gradient. However, I do not want a gradient, so I'm going to change it to a soft gray. Now we're going to create a new layer. It's going to be layer 3. We're going to change it to buttons. And then we're going to lock the second layer. Now zoom all the way in using Command plus to get into the center. Now using the ellipse tool, we're going to hold shift and drag out a perfect circle. Now we have the fill of gray. We're going to double click on that and change it to white. Press OK. With the black arrow, we're going to move it into place, and we're going to change the stroke to 0.75 to make it a little thinner. I'm going to use it again, make it a little smaller. Use the rectangle tool to create a buttonhole. Take away the fill and adjust the stroke and create a dashed line. Now pay attention to the numbers I use. I play around to see what best creates a buttonhole stitch. So now once I get the perfect buttonhole stitch, looking pretty good, I'm going to move it towards the back so my button can come forward to give it the illusion that the button is going through. Now with the ellipse tool, I'm going to create smaller holes, change the strokes, and copy and paste these little holes several times to get a 4 buttonhole. Change the stroke to create it smaller. Now since all 3 items are in a separate layer, I'm able to select all of it and go to Object and Group. Now it becomes one object. Now that it is one solid button, we're going to copy and paste that button, and I'm going to rotate it vertically so I can have my buttons going across my center front vertically instead of horizontally. Now I'm going to copy and paste it, put one towards the top and another one towards the bottom, and I'm going to continue to copy and paste several until I have enough to fill in my center front. Now once you place enough buttons down the center front, we're going to take the black selection tool and select all of the buttons. Now we're going to find the Align tab. If you can't find it, you just go to Window and Align. It's already checked. So now I want to first show you the center. You could just align them to the center, and the next one you can align them and distribute them evenly down the center front, clicking those 2 options. Now we're going to go Object, Group, move it and adjust it. Now the final step is to File, Save As, save on your computer, make sure it's an AI file, change the name, press Save, and OK, and you're all done!